Hello, my name is Nylan Ford, and I am here today to tell you a story of a creation myth of Zuma and Faseenn. Just a little bit of a historical background on this myth. It was created by me. Um, the creation of the myth, I aligned it with my spiritual upbringing, which was Christianity. Um, in the myth of Jesus, it took 7 days to create the world, and that's sort of kind of how my myth is. In 7 days, I created the world and what was in it. I incorporated my children as the gods of the story. I am the maker, and me and my spouse are the makers, and our children are the little gods in the story. Each of them was created with a little bit of their personality involved. So for Zumant, that is my oldest son. His middle name is Lamont. So I just fixed up the name to incorporate his name in it. And he's the oldest. He's very strong in the family. He's always trying to tell what's right and wrong. He does a lot of stuff around the house, so just his character kind of represents him, with his vest of iron in fire. It just tells a little bit about him and his personality. Ravine is my daughter. She's the only girl, and boy, is she just something else. That's why the light that comes from her is so blinding on people. Tucson, that's my third child. His name is Kashmir. His name really does not have anything to do with the myth. Just to back up a little bit, Ravine, my daughter's middle name is Renee, so I just made that Ravine. For Tucson, it really did not have anything to do with his name. I did make him two-headed because the one side with the good, one side with the evil, because he's such a sweet boy. But then he'll do things that's just like, okay, boy, that's the total opposite. And for Kaiju, he's the youngest in the family. And he's got 3 heads because he's just the maker and the taker of everything in the house. But he's such a joy to have. So I did come up with everything for the myth on my own, but I had help with the total construction of my myth. So I'm going to read it for you guys, and here we have it. The creation of the world, a myth of Zuma and Faseenn. In the beginning, there was only darkness and wind, an endless void where nothing could strive. The wind blew with such force that it tore through the void, creating a storm so violent that no being could exist within it. Yet, even in this chaos, the seeds of creation brewed, waiting for their time. From the turmoil emerged Zuma, Mother Earth, born of the primary elements. She was the start of all creation, nourishing and abundant. Yet Zuma could not shape the world alone. She molded her companion, Faseenn, from clay and stone, breathing life into him. Faseenn, the lord of the moon, water, and dark, brought balance to Zuma's light and vitality. Together they began the legendary work of creation, setting the world into motion through a 7-day cycle. On the first night, Zuma and Faseenn brought forth the land. With gentle hands, Zuma shaped the earth into giant hills, plush valleys, and fertile gardens. Faseenn guided the moonlight, illuminated the beauty of her works. Together they sowed the gardens with seeds that would produce bread, ensuring the land's bounty would sustain life for years to come. The forceful winds began to soften whispering instead of howling. This was the first sign of harmony. On the second night, Zuma shaped the mountains, their peaks piercing the heavens. She filled the valleys with rivers and lakes, their waters filled with Faseenn's nature and spirit. From this union sprang the first creations: tigers, lambs, fishes, and birds. 17 animals in all, each with a role to play in the balance of the world. The tigers guarded the mountains, the lambs grazed in the valleys, the fish swam in the rivers, and the birds took to the skies, singing songs of creation. On the third night, Zuma and Faseenn turned their attention to comfort and protection. They carved warm waterfalls that overflowed into serene pools, creating hidden places of peace. Caves were built, offering shelter from the elements and the dark of the night. These caves promoted safety, shelter, and warmth. The waterfalls were overflowing with sap's moonlight. Their glow created to safety in the darkest hours. The fourth night marked the beginning of the gods. From the union of the moonlight and fire, Zuma created Zumant, a mighty warrior. His head reached the clouds. His chest was heavily protected by a vest of stone, a symbol of his courage and strength. Zumant was kind and noble, destined to lead and protect. His every step shook the earth, and his voice was a thunderous roar that commanded respect from all living beings. On the fifth night, Raveen was born from pure light. Her beauty was so radiant that no one could gaze upon her without being blinded. To shield others, Raveen brought with her a magical snake form. Its shimmering scales reflected her essence. Those who looked upon her in this form saw not only light, but also the promise of transformation. Raveen's presence brought hope to renewal into the world. Her light guided those lost in the dark. On the sixth night, Zuma and Faseenn created Tucson, a mischief and hard-to-understand being. Tucson had two faces, one good and one evil. He could turn his head, showing only one face at a time. His dual nature brought both joy and chaos, as his actions often led to unattended consequences. Tucson was a trickster, even restless, staring mischief wherever he went. When he laughed, the skies echoed with storms, and when he cried, gentle rainfalls nourishing the earth. The seventh night brought forth the most powerful of all the creations, Kaiju. Kaiju had 3 heads, the body of a dragon and the tail of a stingray. His powers was massive, capable of shaping the world in or destroying it. With his great deal of abilities, Kaiju became both a protector and a challenge to the harmony Zuma and Faseenn sought to establish. His 3 heads often argue, each with their own personality, one wise, one impulsive, and one sneaky. The tail of the stingray carried the power of both creation and destruction, a constant reminder of the fine line between the two. As the gods came into their own, their powers began to clash. Kaiju's tremendous strength sometimes disturbed the delicate balance of creation. His 3 heads often argued among themselves, each seeking dominance. Tucson, ever the troublemaker, delighted in stirring up conflict, his dual nature leading to both laughter and strife. Even Raveen light, though beautiful, could be overwhelming, forcing others to turn away. Zumant, steadfast and brave, sought to meditate these tensions. He worked tirelessly to guide the gods, using his strength and wisdom to keep them united. Unfortunately, even he could not even resolve all conflicts. The turning point came when Tucson, in a fit of mischief, convinced Kaiju to unleash a storm of fire and water. The destruction threatened to undo all that Zuma and Faseenn had created. The mountains trembled, rivers overflowed, and the skies darkened. Seeing the chaos, Zuma and Faseenn knew they had to act. Zuma and Faseenn called the gods together, their voice echoing with the power of the elements. Each of you, Zuma said with a stern voice, bears a unique gift, yet these gifts are not meant for chaos, but for harmony. Light and dark, good and evil, strength and wisdom must exist together, balanced as one. To ensure this balance, Zuma and Faseenn blended their own fundamental principles into the world. Zuma's nurturing spirit became the soil and the trees, while Faseenn's common presence flowed into the rivers and the night sky. They taught the gods to use their powers in harmony. Raveen's light to guide, Zumat's strength to protect, Tucson's mischief to teach humanity, and Kaiju's power to safeguard creation. Raveen, understanding the weight of her radiance, created covering from her magical snake form to shield her light when necessary, allowing others to approach her without fear. Tsusan, though still a trickster, learned to temper his mischief, using it to teach lessons rather than show discord. Kaiju, with the help of Zumat, learned to channel his strength for protection, his three heads finding unity in their purpose. With time, the gods learned to work together, blending their strengths and weaknesses. The world flourished, a testament to the balance of light and dark, chaos and order. The waterfalls sparkled under the moon. The mountains stood tall again in the sky, and the creators of the earth thrived under the care of their gods. Thus, the 7 days continued, a reminder of the unity created by Zuma and Faseenn. Each day and night carried the essence of their creation, a delicate balance that sustained the world. The gods became the rulers of the balance, their stories passed down through generation as a reminder of harmony that must be maintained. In the heavens, Zuma and Faseenn watched over their creations, proud of their world they had shaped together. In the whispers of the wind and the glow of the moonlight, their presence could still be felt, a guiding force in every turning cycle of life. The end.